So the first talk is called Heads, Hearts and Guts, The Emotional Politics of Brexit by Emily Robertson and Jonathan Moss. I think just Jonathan is going to be presenting. Is that right? Emily is nodding. And they're both from the University of Sussex, and they're both political historians working in the politics department at Sussex. Jonathan's first book focused on the relationship between feminism, workplace activism, and trade unionism during the years 1968 to 1985. And he is also the co-author of The Good Politician, Folk Theories, Political Interaction, and the Rise of Anti-Politics. Emily's previous books include History, Heritage and Tradition in Contemporary British Politics and The Language of Progressive Politics in Modern Britain. And together with Jake Watts, they're about to bring out the much anticipated The Politics of Feeling in Brexit Britain, Stories from the Mass Observation Project. And you can pre-order their book as I speak. I think it's coming out in February. The second talk is by Sam Duncan from University College London, the Institute of Education. It's titled Mass Observing Everyday Literacies, the Mundane, Profane and Profound. Sam is Associate Professor in Adult Education and Literacies at University College London. She is an adult literacy teacher, educator, and researcher with particular interests in reading development, community education, reading circles, and the roles of cinema, literature, and poetry in language learning. Sam is director of the International Literacy Centre and co-director of the Centre for Post-14 Education and Work. Her Reading Aloud study has been published by the Routledge Literacies series in 2021, called Oral Literacies When Adults Read Aloud. And she's currently working on a project on reading groups for emergent readers in prisons with prison reading groups. The project is called Reading the Way, and I'll put the link in the chat in a minute. The third talk is by Pollyanna Rees from the University of Sussex and a dear colleague of mine. It's called Activist, Protester, Onlooker, Discovering Hidden Protest Stories. Pollyanna is Professor of Media and Cultural Studies at the University of Sussex. She's interested in the media's role in the construction of social and political change. And her research focuses on the way in which protest movements bridge the gap between their own familiar but marginal spaces and a mainstream which is suspicious at best and downright hostile at worst. Her first book, Articulating Dissent, Protests in the Public Sphere, examines the way in which protest groups are represented in the mainstream and explores the way in which contemporary protesters, stemming from very different traditions, maintain solidarity across difference. Her forthcoming book, which is partly based on a mass observation directive, is going to be called Remembering and Forgetting, Media, Memory, Activism.